Hey everybody, Matt Colville here. It is late after game night. It's 12:45 in the morning. I don't know if you can tell there's a little bit of a frog in my throat. I've been sick and I was at work all day and then running D&D all night. I tweeted a few minutes ago saying that I think I can say, without fear of hyperbole, that a single encounter with a black pudding has irrevocably changed the geopolitical landscape of my D&D game. And people on Twitter were demanding explanations, and I couldn't think of a way to explain it in a tweet. So I thought, hell, I'll just make a short video and kind of catch people up. So if you're expecting another 30-minute long Matt Colville teaches you how to run D&D video, I apologize. This will go up before Monday. It'll probably go up tonight if I can get it edited quickly enough. And if you were following the last video, it picks up basically where that one left off. The heroes had settled their issues with the goblins in the mine and freed the goblins from the orc masters who had enslaved them, and had decided to rest up. All week I've been probing and prodding them, trying to get them to tell me, what are you guys going to do next? They're at a mine in the middle of a swamp. As I saw it, they had two options. They could either go to a nearby ruined keep where they know there's a bunch of bad guys, orcs, who have been capturing spellcasters and sending them below. They don't know exactly to who. The wordless ones, the voiceless talkers, the goblins said, and when pressed, the goblins, terrified and refusing to say more, I described them as pressing their wrists to their lips and wiggling their fingers. So some of the players are experienced Dungeons and Dragoneers, and they know what that means, but other players are sort of mystified. So the players have reason to believe if they go to Blackspire Keep that they'll learn more about who's kidnapping these spellcasters. But there's also the nearby city, the Bedegar Keep. They're in the barony of Bedegar. They've been to several towns in Bedegar. They saved all the townsfolk in Gravesford, but they've never been to the seat of the barony. They've never met the regent. They have met the baron's wizard. And the Baron's wizard is a good guy. There's somebody they've been relying on. But they found a note with the orcs down in the goblin mine, and the note very suspiciously described someone who looked just like the wizard. I'll put the note up so you can check it out. And the players are like, oh man, they're going after spellcasters, and now they're going after our wizard patron, the one guy we can trust. His name's Tace, which is Latin for hush. All the wizards in my campaign setting take on Latin names because if you know their true name, you have power over them and their spells don't work as well on you. So the heroes are afraid the bad guys are going after Tace, and they're not sure what to do. Do we go to the city or do we go to Blackspire Keep? But it seems as though Blackspire Keep is where all the action's happening. So that seemed to be the consensus before tonight. But after resting, they decided, hey, let's go back into these mines and explore the stuff that we didn't check out last time. And that caused a lot of debate. Is there any reason to believe there's anything there to explore? Why are we wasting time here? Other players are like, maybe there's some treasure. Maybe there's some plot points that we missed. So the faction that want to go back into the mine talk the other faction who are like, it's a waste of time, into giving it a shot. And in fact, they only missed one encounter on the first level of the mine. There was a dead end that their goblin buddy that they had kind of kidnapped and then negotiated with said, if you guys need a place to rest, there's a dead end there in the mine that nobody ever goes down to. And so the players explored it. And it turned out that the reason that no one ever goes down there is there's a black pudding attached to the ceiling. And of course, the players have a half-orc fighter and a dwarven cleric in front of the party. The ranger and thief, who might be able to detect these things, are safely tucked away in the back. They're not searching, they're not being stealthy, they're just moving forward in anticipation of adventure. And of course, adventure found them. So I don't know how much you know about black puddings, but they are made of acid, and when they attack you, bad things happen. In this case, the dwarven cleric, who's wearing heavy metal armor and has a heavy two-handed metal maul, is attacked by the black pudding, and as a result, the acid that hits him from the black pudding corrodes his metal armor. His armor class goes down by 1, permanently. He attacks the black pudding with his maul. The maul takes damage from the acid. Now the maul's damage is reduced by 1, permanently. And at that point, the dwarf player said, we are going to Bedegar Keep. I am buying better armor. So that was the fork in the road. Down one road was Blackspire Keep, fighting orcs, finding out more clues to who's kidnapping wizards. And the other fork was go to Bedegar Keep. They have never been to the seat of the barony. They have never talked to the regent. They don't know why is there a regent? Why isn't there a baron? They don't know. And so they decide to head on down there. And their journey there is uneventful, but once they arrive, everything goes wrong. I tried to subtly suggest to the thief player that maybe he should go to the inn and do some, investigation to find out what's going on in town. I asked the dwarf if he wanted to go see the blacksmith, and he said yeah. And initially the druid was going to go with him, but then the druid said, no, we all want to go meet the wizard, Tace, the guy that is our buddy, and make sure he's okay and tell him what we found. We have magic items for him to identify. We have news about the kidnappings in the area. Unfortunately, everybody in the party except for the dwarf, Keck, the dwarf cleric of Ord, the dwarven god in my setting. Ord goes to talk to the blacksmith. Everyone else goes to talk to the wizard. They knock on the wizard's door, and a knight opens the door and says, who are you? And very suspicious things happen. The heroes say, we are friends of Tace, the wizard. He's the Baron's wizard, and this is the seat of the barony. We're his buddies. We should be welcomed. And the knight is like, oh, when was the last time you saw Tace? And the heroes say, whoa, a week ago? And they're like, oh, so you may be the last people who saw Tace alive. Would you mind? And automatically the players are like, what is going on? Would you mind coming and talking to the regent? He would very much like to talk to you. And the players are like, yeah, sure, of course. And as they are led to the regent, more knights join them, and now they have an escort. And these knights seem like serious guys, like not necessarily normal men-at-arms, guys that might be higher level than the party. And eventually they get an audience with the regent, and while they're waiting, the druid player starts to wonder, I think we're being set up. And it becomes clear to the druid player, it becomes clear to the thief player that things are not what they seem. And at this point, the knights start to get a little bit, aggressive. And no, you may not use the privy. No man uses the privy while waiting for the baron. Or the regent. And then they have an audience with the regent, and the regent is a bad-looking dude, and he's got his cleric there with him, and now there's 5 knights of the Black Rose in the audience chamber surrounding the heroes, and the baron starts asking some very leading questions, very accusatory, and it's clear he's not super interested in what the player's story is. He's going to hang the disappearance of Tace on them, and then hang them. And the players are like, whoa, what is going on? And the wizard says, wait, we have a note here that we captured from the bad guys explicitly saying they're going to go after Tace. And the baron says, the regent says, hey, may I see that note? And they're like, yeah, sure. And the regent looks at the note and then rips it up and says, arrest those men. And I think he actually explicitly said, the people will be happy to know that we have settled the issue with Tace, and they will accept our explanation. The ruse has been dropped. The regent is no longer interested in fooling these people. He's like, yeah, you guys are going to hang for the death of our missing wizard. So it's now 1 o'clock in the morning, and I've just explained what's going on, and I'm very tired, and I'm still recovering from a cold, so I apologize if this wasn't very coherent. But we left it with 5 of the 6 heroes in the audience chamber, surrounded by the regent's knights, with the regent there, and he looks like he is a powerful dude. The regent's priest is there, and they said, arrest those men. And then we stopped because I said, if you guys are going to fight these guys, and it looked like they were going to go for it, then that's going to take more time than we have tonight. So this is a good place to stop. Meanwhile, the dwarf is out in town. He's talking to the blacksmith. He's fine. He had his own role-playing encounter, and he has his own perspective on these events. And I took him outside and role-played everything with him by himself. And then he came back and very studiously kept his mouth shut. So none of the players know what happened to him, and neither do you. And neither will they until next week. But I don't even know what's going to happen. I think they're going to try and put up a fight. I think the heroes are going to try and resist. And I'm not going to tell you how badass those knights are, but it might be suicide. So, because of a black pudding encounter, the dwarf's armor and weapons became corroded. And because the dwarf's armor and weapons became corroded, he decided we are very definitely going to the big city nearby because I need heavy armor and that stuff's expensive. And they don't have it in the little towns. So they didn't go to Blackspire Keep. They went to the big town, and at the big town, they wanted to talk to the wizard anyway, get their items identified, let them know the bad guys were after him, say we have clues as to why spellcasters are being kidnapped, but unfortunately, all their plans went awry. They didn't go to the inn to do any kind of gather information. These players, a lot of them are new. A lot of the things I assume, this is a lesson to DMs, or at least to me. It may be obvious to you, but many of these guys are new players, and the things I take for granted, they don't, and I often try to avoid giving them leading ideas. I just ask, are you guys going to do this? Are you guys going to do that? And, often there are reasons I'm asking these things, but they don't know. And I don't want to make it obvious, because if I make it obvious, then all of a sudden it's like, I've given them a clue. So probably this time next week, I'll do another short video and let you guys know what happened. But yeah, one black pudding. And now the heroes are embroiled in a huge political thing that they didn't even know existed. And what happened to the Baron who's supposed to be in charge? And why is there a regent? And why does he seem like a bad guy? And we liked the wizard, and now he's gone, and we've been accused of murdering him. That's ridiculous. But we may hang in the morning before the people of the town ever get to hear our case. And they're just going to assume that the regent was right and that he found the bad guys and they were us and now we're dead. I have a sneaking suspicion the heroes are going to find a way out of this, but I actually have no idea what it is. I'm often as surprised as anybody to find out what their plan or their scheme is. What I've noticed is that things often get really bad before they get good. So I love black puddings. Fantastic. All right, folks, thanks for watching. We will continue with our regularly scheduled program. There'll be a new video on Monday. We'll be talking about DM screens, and I think there'll be a video on Thursday about the deck of many things. I had a lot of questions about why I would put such a thing in my game, and so we're going to talk about how I use magic items like that, and what the deck is and its history, and my plan for how to deploy it in a way that makes it a little less ridiculous. See you guys Monday. Peace out.